Thank you for joining into Drew T. Jackson Coaching, Speaking, and Training podcast and video. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and like and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm excited today. I've got a special guest that I'm interviewing today. You don't see her on the screen. She is so gracious. She's actually doing this over the phone with us today, and we're so thankful that we could get a hold of her. But her name is Rotunda Morgan. And Rotunda, would you go ahead and say hello to the listeners?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
That's great. Thank you for making time out of your schedule, busy schedule, as we'll find out here in a moment, to be able to come and let me interview you. Let us learn from you. You are, I've been reading over your bio. Just a little backstory. I met Rotunda last week at a networking event. And just Rotunda, as you'll learn from the next few moments of this video and this podcast, is that she's just a wonderful, wonderful person. You can tell that just from meeting her. So warm and kind, absolutely. And so I thought this is the type of person that I want to interview, and I want everybody else to get to experience who Rotunda is. And so as I was talking to Rotunda, I mean, she is no slouch. She gets work done. I'm reading over your bio, and you have an accounting background. It looks like, is that something you've always been interested in, or is that something that have numbers always kind of been a thing for you, Rotunda?
Numbers has always been a thing for me. I just was fortunate to have some awesome managers and directors that saw that in me and gave me the opportunity. And so it's just been always something that I've been interested in, which is one of my many things I've been interested in. So, yeah.
That's great. And so you and my wife, we get along because my wife is great with numbers and just such a blessing to me in that way, where we're kind of opposites in that way. And she handles all that. So fast forward. So you have this background in corporate America and doing accounting and real estate taxes and very interesting stuff. And fast forward to 2014, you marry your husband, Landa, and
Yes.
great guy. I've gotten to meet him in person and also talk to him on the phone. And so, so he owns a web and graphic design company called Nfuxion Design. Am I saying that right? Nfuxion Design Solutions?
That's correct. Yes.
So
that's correct.
Nfuxion Design Solutions. And so you're co-owner of that company, but that wasn't enough for you. And that kind of gets into my interviews here with entrepreneurs. You got that entrepreneur itch, right? So
yes, I do. Yes.
Well, tell us kind of, where did that come from? How have you done any entrepreneurial activities before, or is this kind of new? Or tell me about that.
Well, it isn't, but it's not. My parents were. They worked full-time jobs, but at the same time, they always had other jobs, other things that they did. My mom had, she did a lot of cooking. So people in the neighborhood and in the churches would always want her to bake cakes. So she would bake cakes for all of the neighboring churches, and just do a lot of their, like if they had holiday events, she would do those for them, and all the baking baked goods and things like that. My father, we had a lot of cattle growing up. I grew up in Texas. So my father we were ranchers, and we had a huge farm of cattle. And so I've always had that get up and go spirit. But my father and my parents, even though they worked full-time job, my mother didn't start working actually until we got into junior high. She was a stay-at-home mom and still did her cakes on the side and all of that. But I got it from that. It kind of started from there, and then transitioned into, once I met my husband, and my husband and I have been together, actually known each other for over 14 years now. And when we started, we started with a couture line. And we started that back in 2000 and I believe 2007. And we started a couture line, and I was the designer. So I always had the the entrepreneurial mindset, but
Yeah.
I just didn't know which way I was going to go with it as far as that. And then once I got into starting with him and designing and doing clothing, it just kind of took off from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool because I think a lot of people can relate to that where they can say, I've got this desire to express myself in this way and start this
Right.
business and just step out and take a risk. I want to I don't kind of the I don't want to sit here and play it safe. I could, but I don't. Obviously, it's not for. I mean, you're extremely successful in the corporate world. That's not why. There was something inside of you that wanted to express yourself in that way, and you went for it. I want to kind of jump back for a minute, and
Right.
something interesting. You talked about your hometown, and you told me in your bio that you grew up in a small town, Linden,
Right.
Texas, where
That's correct.
Don Henley is from. And now I love
Yes.
I love the Eagles. How did you know this? I mean, I just love the Eagles,
I
Rotunda.
didn't. That is awesome because his mother was my pre-K teacher.
That
So
is
I
amazing.
mean, it's amazing because when growing up, of course, I didn't know that. I'm
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little child, of course. But as years went on and everything, and people were like, "Where are you from?" I said, "Oh, that's where Don Henley's from." I said, "Henley." I said, "That was my teacher last name," and they was like, "Well, his mom was a teacher," and sure enough, she was
Oh my
his
goodness.
mother. Yes, isn't that awesome?
That is great. So I just got to know, like, for Fun Day Friday in pre-K, did they play the Eagles at your school or?
I don't. I'll be honest. I don't remember, but I just remember how warm and sweet and kind his mom was to all of us. She treated us as if we all were her little kids.
Wow.
And that was my first experience, of course, preschool, having a teacher. She was one of my favorite teachers, and I'll just never forget that. Never forget the things she put in us to, stand up straight and to believe in yourself and you can do it and give the hugs, and it was just amazing. It was just an amazing time. I had an amazing childhood.
That's great. That is so great.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, okay. So got a web development, web design solutions
Yes.
company that you and your husband run, and
Yes.
now you're partnering up with another gentleman, and you're
Yes.
starting a food business with
Yes.
multiple products, multiple lines,
Yes.
and I mean, obviously, you didn't just start here where one day you just you're marketing this food line into grocery stores, and am I correct with that?
Yeah, we are first quarter of next year. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So how did you get from there to here? How did you where did you meet up with Rob, and how did this happen? Tell us the story about that.
I will actually. Uncle Rob, we call him Robert
Hmm.
Shaddix. He actually goes to our church. We go to the same church.
Yes.
We go to the Potter's House where Bishop T.D. Jakes is our pastor. And
Yes.
we met during the time when we're in fine art. So a lot of our productions that we do as
Okay.
far as our Easter and yes, Easter production and Christmas productions and anything with that we met him through that
Okay.
area. So it was just like we met that one time. We've kind of been around each other because of church, and he was looking for actually on Facebook. He was looking for someone to do a website for him.
Okay.
And one of our friends,
Oh,
who's a
okay.
videographer, yes, said, "Hey, Landa and Rotunda and them, they do that." He said, "Well, I thought they only did graphics," and he said, "No, they're full shop. They do everything from web to graphics to media, all of it." And he was like, "Oh." So from there, he asked for our services, we we actually did his whole. We're doing his social media site. We did his website, the whole entire line. So from there, he was like, "This fits so wonderfully," and we worked so well together. And from there, he was like, "I want you guys to partner with me."
Wow.
And that's how it. And I have to say this, Drew. This was so much of a God thing.
Yeah.
Cause, because, Robert said this to us. He said he was just one night praying and God said, Rotunda and Landa, I want them to be part of this business. And he looked at how, my husband is the designer, and he looked at how, we do things in excellence, and we do that because, you're supposed to, we're children of the Most High. So we believe in doing things in excellence.
Absolutely.
And he saw it from there. He was like, I want you guys on board. And that's how it started.
Wow. I love that. I love that. You're doing it with excellence, and that caught his attention. And that's a great lesson for any business owner, for anybody in general, but for any business owner in particular, because that's who we're talking to today, is do your job with excellence and you'll get noticed.
That's right.
Do it the best of your ability, do it well. I have one mentor that says, once you think you got it right, do it one more time. Look it over one more time.
That's good.
Just one last, because it's that one more time, many times.
That's right.
That makes it that much better. And so I want to talk in a little bit about kind of the line and what products you guys are going to be offering, and where people can find out about that. Because you have an eclectic blend, I would say, of there's one fun one in there that we always like to say, and we'll save that though for the listeners. There's a fun product. I know you know what I'm talking about too.
Yes, I do.
So, but let me ask this. When along this process, when you're working with Rob, when somewhere along there where you and Landa kind of looked at each other and you said, I think there might be something here. I think there might be something interesting here. And you felt like we want to jump in and we want to go all in with this. Tell me about that.
Oh my goodness. The taste test. Robert is actually the person that creates the products.
Okay.
And when we, this is a funny story, but it's true. Growing up, I ate a lot of pickles. And when you're young, pickles, you go into baseball games and softball games, and we ate a lot of pickles. And as I got older, I was like, I don't want not one pickle. I don't want to see a pickle. I don't want any pickles. Well, Uncle Rob came up with this spicy pickle. And he said, Rotunda, I want you to try it. And I'm like, oh, Uncle, I don't really like pickles anymore. I tasted this pickle. I was blown away. I was like, a spicy pickle. And it's not spicy to the point where it's just overbearing, but it has a little ting in the back of your throat. You're like, the flavor of that with the spicy and all the ingredients together, it just blew me away. And once we started tasting the product, and not only that, Robert believes in his product. Robert is excited. He believes in it. He just has that kid in a candy store type of attitude, to where we were like, this guy has something here, from all the products that he's, created. We've tasted quite a few of them. And it's funny, he's still getting more products. He's still creating more.
He's got more ideas.
He has more ideas.
Wow.
And so once we saw the way he presented his products, the love he put in it, the enthusiasm he has about it, we knew that this is something that we wanted to be a part of.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. That's exciting. Well, let me ask you this, because since I am in the personal growth industry and leadership development and continued learning, and so that's what I do is help people come into organizations, come alongside them, or help individuals with some of my online programs that I have. how has personal growth or continued learning been a part of your life and where you are today?
It's very important. We all have our, thing about ourselves that we're like, some confident areas of confidence or things that we have to, kind of press past.
Yeah.
As far as saying, sometimes you already have, you got two sides. One says, no, you're not good enough. And another one says, yeah, you can do it. So I've had to learn, for me, over the years, to listen to the side that says, you can do it.
Yeah.
The side that says, don't listen to that side. The side that says, keep going.
Wow.
The side that says, don't listen to a what if, that it can happen. But what if it could happen?
That's so good.
I've had to press my way forward in my own development as far as that's concerned, to say, you can do it. Don't look back. Don't listen to, a lot of times you have friends and people, and then sometimes your family, they're not trying to be, saying, hey, you can, or what have you. They just saying, well, we're trying to protect you. But a lot of times they don't understand that you see something bigger than what they can see. And so you have to have confidence and faith in yourself to go past the naysayers or go past your own self-doubt that you could create for yourself. We do that a lot. We can create this big, huge issue that is not an issue and go with it and say, well, this is how it's going to be. It's not going to happen for me. I just won't pursue. But you can't do that. You have to pursue. It's so funny. My bishop wrote a book called Soar.
Okay.
And this book, out of all the books he's written that I have, this book reminded me that this is what I was created to do, is to soar.
Wow.
He talks about the chickens and the eagles. Well, the eagles do not congregate with chickens.
Yes.
Because they don't fly. Eagles fly high. They even make love in the sky.
Wow.
And that was like, wow to me. So there's a difference between being an eagle and a chicken.
Yeah.
And that impacted me. That just hit me to where I'm like, yeah, that's what I was created to do.
Yeah.
It's to soar. Do not look at the circumstances around you. Do not look at what should have or what could have or what you don't have at the time. You have to go forward, knowing that everything's going to come in place. Everything's going to fall in place. So that has helped me. Honestly, that has helped me.
You're helping me right now. My goodness, you're on fire, Rotunda.
Well, thank you. It's just been that, I don't have, it's not a, I just come out of, I have so much confidence in the world to do all these great things that God has put before me. No, it hasn't. It's been the fact that I had to say to myself, go, no matter what, go scared, go not knowing, go anyway.
Wow.
And don't worry about what you don't have, and don't worry about who you're not. Because the Bible says, who I call, I qualify.
That's good.
That helped me, in the book.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That was great. That was worth the price of admission right there. I mean, everybody that's listening, that right there, you could listen to that over and over again. And especially if you find yourself, because you've been there, you've been there in that time where it feels like everything is closing in on you, that no one's answering the phone for you, that no one's taking a bite, and no one wants to build a website. Why did everybody stop building websites in the world, or why does everybody want to buy food? This is great. Whatever. And you've got to continue. That's that entrepreneur mindset that's right. And that's what you have. That's what you just shared, is that mindset to say, what, sometimes you're going to go out there and you're going to be all alone with a new idea, with a product line that maybe some people aren't going to get, but it's good, and right. So with that, I had to say that to set up, what is the item that always gets a laugh from the crowd, that maybe gets some funny faces? I know what it is. I know what it is, but not everybody does. What is that item that you guys are offering?
One of our items that we're offering is Uncle Rob's spicy kimchi.
That's the one. That is one of the products that I think, I don't know that I have necessarily seen that in the grocery store. And maybe it's there and I just don't know it. But there's an item that I've heard of for years. I have friends in the school I went to, cause it's a Korean dish, is it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I had friends, they were from Korea, South Korea. And so it was something they made in their homes, and a shout out to my good friend Levi Gafford. He actually he lived, and sometimes it can have a little odor when you're making it, because it's fermenting cabbage.
Yes, it's fermented. Yes, that's correct.
But people who I've met many people from all different backgrounds and nationalities, and people who love kimchi. I mean, they love kimchi. So I think that's great that you're offering it, but that's not all you're offering. You have a full line of products
Hot
that you
sauces.
offer. Yeah. Tell us about those. Tell us what you got. The pickles that you just mentioned. Tell us about this stuff.
We have the spicy pickles that I just mentioned, the sliced spicy pickles. We also have hot sauces. We use a Peking pepper. Okay. So that pepper, which is a different pepper than most hot sauces that you try on the market now, which has a great flavor. It has almost a fruity flavor to it, but it is spicy. So we have that. We also have our hot mustard. It's a spicy mustard. We also have that. We have a rub that we're coming out with as well.
Oh, that's great.
To go on. Yes. For that, we also have a barbecue sauce, and it's called LM Spicy Barbecue Sauce. It is that's another one of our products, and we have a lot, and jerky. We have the best jerky.
Stuck out to me because you have a unique jerky
and vegan jerky.
Vegan jerky. That stuck out to me. Those items stuck out to me. I thought that is. You need to go to I know there's a vegan restaurant actually in off Magnolia, the Spiral Diner, I believe it is. And
it is.
Yeah, maybe they would want to have your product. I don't know, but yeah, wow, that's that's great that you have that now. What have you been up to? Because so you're getting ready the first quarter of the year to launch, and so what does that take? I mean, that's not anything I've ever had to do, because you're finding distributors and partnering with distributors, and then is that
correct?
Okay. Yeah.
That's correct.
Maybe something real quick about what you've been up to right now to get you ready for that launch in January.
Well, we actually, the products, getting in with the distributor, we've already contacted a distributor here in Arlington, Texas, that is going to distribute our products. We've been in a lot of different meetings with lawyers and, of course, in CPAs for the company, and making sure everything is up and running. We've also are looking into our vehicles that we are looking to purchase for our products as pickup. Yes. For my husband and I, this is a new venture for us. He says this all the time. He don't know a lot about, foods and everything. I know quite a bit about foods, but to be able to be in the business now, we are learning a lot. We don't have everything, of course, figured out, but our products speak for itself. We actually have 2 restaurants that are already interested, 3 that are interested, in having our products there. One in Galveston. Yes, and two here in Dallas, Texas. So we've just been, and getting ready to launch everything. The site, he it's already there. We have a coming soon page, which is already up. Everything's up. We're just ready to make sure, everything's ready to
Mm-hmm.
go, patent, and be able to put everything on the website. Social media site is up. We're on Facebook, Instagram,
Okay.
for Uncle Rob. Yes. So
Well,
we're up and we're ready to go.
well, let me ask you this. Are people going to be able to buy the product directly from your website as well? Or
Yes.
okay, fantastic, fantastic.
Yes. We'll
Yeah.
have an e-commerce site for that.
Okay, tell me where's the website? How can people connect with you? When does the website go live? And then I can put links. I'll put links for all the listeners. I'll put them in the show notes, and I'll put them in
Okay.
the description in the YouTube video. But if you would
Okay.
just share
Sounds
those
great.
as well, what are those links, and where can people find you, and when can they start ordering?
Okay. For Uncle Rob's, it's going to be Unca, and it's UNKA
Okay.
robsfoods.com.
Okay.
And he's actually on social media as far as Facebook and Instagram under Uncle Rob.
Okay.
And
Fantastic.
for infusion, and for infusion, it's going to be infusion.com, and it's NFUXION.com.
Perfect.
And we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn. So you can find us everywhere.
Great. I'll make sure I have all the links in there for when that comes. And when do you have a date for when people can buy some of your products on the Uncle Rob's website?
We're looking to do it by March.
Okay.
Again, it has to go through there's a process that it has to go through
Absolutely.
with the Food and Drug Administration and all that.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're looking the first quarter of next year. So we're looking around March. That's
Oh,
when we're looking to get everything out and ready. We're going to actually in February we're doing a taste testing.
okay. Well,
We're putting that together right now. I'm not sure yet what we're putting that together right now, so we will let everybody know. It will be on the social media site, so we'll have everything up and running, where the locations will be, so we'll let everyone know in advance.
perfect. So be looking out for that, everybody, on the social media sites
Yes,
if you're in the Dallas Fort Worth area. And you got time for a couple rapid fire questions real quick, and then we'll be done?
I do.
All right.
Yes, I
Here we go.
do.
All right. So what was the last thing you watched on TV, and why did you choose to watch it?
The last thing I watched on TV was Simply Dumpling, and it's a young man who travels all over the world and eats foods. And the reason I watched it is because my husband and I, we are travelers. We love to travel. So that's one of our pastimes. It's one of our favorite things to do. So that's a guy you need to watch. Him, Simply Dumpling. He's
Simply
another great
Dumpling.
guy. And yes, and another guy named Mark Weems with
Okay.
Migrationology. So we look at a lot of those, and we do a lot of documentaries. So the last thing I looked at was Simply Dumpling.
All right. That's great. All right. Here's another one. If you were on American Idol tonight, what song would you sing?
What's this? Oh goodness. um. Oh my goodness. What would I
I
sing? I
stumped
would
you,
sing
huh?
probably. I would probably sing. I would probably sing a song from Whitney Houston.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew. Yeah,
You
I
did?
promise you. Yes. I just knew. So can you sing? Are you able to sing? I mean, I'm not
I
asking
can
you right
sing.
now. Okay, that's great. That's great.
Yes, I can sing. I'm a soprano,
That's
so I can sing.
fantastic. That's so funny. Um, all right. Here's a tough one. A 6-year-old child asks you if Santa Claus is real. What do you say?
Yes, he is.
Okay. And then here's one I threw in here. Are you afraid of clowns?
I am. Yes, I'm afraid of clowns. I do not like clowns.
Hey, I think it's more than half of America doesn't like clowns, so you're in
Oh
good
my
company.
God.
And then last, here's one I like to ask. Would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
100. I guess I would say 100 duck-sized horses.
Well, there you go. All right. Hey, everybody, that was Rotunda Morgan. We're having fun here. And I'll
Yes.
make sure you have all the websites. Great stuff on mindset of an entrepreneur. And please like and subscribe the channel, the podcast, and we'll keep great content coming to you. Rotunda, thank you so much. You have a fantastic day and a very Merry Christmas this weekend.
You too, Drew. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to the listeners, and a Happy New Year.
Absolutely.